Oh dear, there is something that has been bothering me for a long while. Snakes. The way they work in GURPS just isn't intuitive and, to be honest, convoluted and poorly explained. More often than not, rules just don't make sense. Serpents of Legend and Combat writ large made some things clearer, didn't explain other things, and raised new questions. So it's time to consolidate the rules and patch up the holes to the extent of my abilities. The question of the number of hexes a snake takes up is quite clear, but the resulting size modifier may feel a bit off. However, I speak as someone who has never fought a snake, especially not a fantastically huge serpent. Let's see what rules say. GURPS Basic Set on page 19 says, when creating a creature that is larger or smaller than a human, find its size modifier by looking up its longest dimension. This sounds 100% clear. If the snake in question is 7 yards long and maybe a foot or so in diameter, then the snake has size modifier +3. But really, is it that much easier to hit such snake in melee or from a distance? Does the snake deserve a -30% discount on strength and HP? However, we have something hidden later in the book. Organization is not GURPS' forte. On page 550, GURPS Basic Set says the following. If an object is much smaller in 2 of 3 dimensions, such as a steel cable 100 yards long but only 2 inches thick, use the smallest dimension instead of the largest. DFRPG Exploits on page 97 adds the following. When shooting it with a missile or stabbing it with a thrusting attack. If we look at the wording pedantically, we see that everything prior says objects or characters, but this part says object, which may imply that it's reserved for inanimate objects only, but that's probably not the intention. So would a 7 yard long and 1 foot thick snake have size modifier -5 then? That doesn't feel right either. Where is the break point when the smallest dimension should be used instead? Let's find some more rules that might be relevant here. GURPS Martial Arts on page 116 says, slithers as legless, unless you have both constriction attack and double jointed. Then the exception under no fine manipulators applies. The exception in question is the following. Constriction attack and double jointed together enable grapples, takedowns, pins, chokes, locks, and breaking free at no penalty, using the torso just like a python. Such attempts are equivalent to two-handed. However, this only applies to grapples using the torso and not teeth. For anything else, you are treated as legless. So, as if fighting from the ground. -4 to attack and -3 to defend. That's quite harsh. Oh, that's confusing. Isn't there some book that features snakes that we can use as an example? Sure, there are a few. Let's check some of them out and see how long the snakes are and what their size modifier is. In DFRPG monsters we have Frost Snake, Giant Constrictor, Giant Viper, Ice Worm, and Leaping Leech, ranging from size modifier -9 to size modifier +5. Sometimes length is not specified, sometimes it is. And the values seem to imply that you have to use the full length for size modifier. DFRPG Nordland Bestiary has many more worm-like and snake-like monsters. Blister Worm, Boar Eel, Fallen Worm, Giant Centipede, Burrow Worm, Sea Serpent, Ice Centipede, Crushing Worm, Steel Serpent, Winged Worm, Guardian Spirit, and Viper. They range from size modifier -3 to +7. But sometimes length is specified, sometimes it's not specified, and sometimes the templates have some strange traits. For example, Boar Eel has both flexibility and vermiform, and vermiform includes double jointed, that's a better form of flexibility. The same applies to the Ice Centipede and Crushing Worm. The Winged Worm has no fine manipulators and vermiform includes no manipulators. So what's going on here? But that's actually irrelevant here. Still, most of the length values seem to imply that the size modifier is derived from the full length, with some inconsistencies. Now let me digress a little bit. Bytes in GURPS have reach C, unless you have a long neck, but I'll mention this again later. If using combat read large from Pyramid 377, then bytes reach benefits from high size modifier as per page 402 of GURPS basic set, but the reach is calculated from the center of your figure. The monsters listed above have very random byte reach. In some cases it seems appropriate for their size modifier, as in C plus bonus from page 402, but in some cases reach is shorter than that. In the case of the Viper, that is 2 foot long at most, the byte has reached C1. How does that even work? I should also know that none of the creatures have horizontal, and none of them say anything about snakes being effectively lying prone and fighting at -4 to attack and -3 to defend. I'll talk about this more soon. DFRPG Serpents of Legend. What could be a better book than a dedicated book about snakes? It talks more about the vermiform posture, saying that snakes, worms and other vermiform creatures normally rear up when fighting. This lets them attack normally, not as if they were legless, and adds their size modifier dependent bonus to bites. They can use dodge and drop, and switching from lying down and reared up or standing takes only one change posture maneuver. Now, just how high can a snake raise its head? I found a scientific article that claims that 1/3 of the snake's length is a good rule of thumb. Thus, I suggest treating snakes as having size modifier based on 1/3 of their length. By the way, I see nothing in the books that would say that a prone creature with no legs slithers would use full move. I think this is a common sense thing, and I will say that both upright and slithering snakes use their full move. The book also adds turret mode mechanics for snakes coiling up. Very cool stuff. However, I have to disagree with it given peripheral vision. Snakes probably should have it at all times, but the coiled up posture reduces their hex footprint and reduces the number of side hexes. Let's have a couple of examples. A 7-yard long snake. When upright it has a height of 7 feet, which corresponds to size modifier +1. When prone it takes up 7 hexes, but when standing it is only 21 minus 7, that's 14 feet long, so it takes up 5 hexes. Size modifier +1 makes upright bites have reach C1. A 15-yard long snake, when upright, has a height of 5 yards, which corresponds to size modifier +2. When prone it takes up 15 hexes, but when standing it is only 10 yards long, so it takes up 10 hexes. Size modifier +2 makes upright bites have reach C1. Wait, that doesn't sound right. Shouldn't 5 yards of height give it reach of 5 yards or so? This is when I remember that GURPS Animalia is a thing. Snakes there do indeed have size modifier lower than what their length would indicate, and it's often close to what 1/3 of their length would give. All snake templates have stretching 4 always on -10% that costs 8 points. But why does it cost 8 points when stretching costs 6 points per level? I failed to find any explanations. Neck only is a -50% limitation, but stretching 4 always on and neck only costs 10 points. I suspect that this was written before long neck, that costs 3 points per level, became a canonical advantage. Long neck 4, that costs 12 points, costs exactly the same as stretching 4 with neck only -50%. Let's have a few examples again, but let's inverse the order. First, a 7-yard long snake. This should be a size modifier +3 creature. Let's give it long neck 4 and subtract 4 from its size modifier. Now it's a size modifier -1 creature with a reach bonus of size modifier +3 creature, that is reach C 2. When upright it should be about 1.5 yards tall. A 15-yard long snake should be a size modifier +5 creature. Let's give it long neck 4 and subtract 4 from its size modifier. Now it is a size modifier +1 creature with a reach bonus of size modifier +5 creature, and that is reach C 5. When upright it should be about 3 yards tall. Wait, that isn't right, is it? It seems that long neck 3 should work better. Let's try that. A 7-yard long snake should be a size modifier +3 creature. Let's give it long neck 3 and subtract 3 from its SM. Now it's a size modifier +0 creature with a reach bonus of a size modifier +3 creature, and that is reach C 2. When upright it should be about 2 yards tall. A 15-yard long snake should be a size modifier +5 creature. We give it long neck 3 and subtract 3 from its size modifier. Now it's a size modifier +2 creature with a reach bonus of a size modifier +5 creature, and that is reach C 5. When upright it should be about 5 yards tall. And let's do a 30-yard long snake that should be a size modifier +7 creature. We give it long neck 3 and subtract 3 from its size modifier. Now it is a size modifier +4 creature with a reach bonus of a size modifier +7 creature, and that's reach C 10. When upright it should be about 10 yards tall, and now it seems to work perfectly. Of course, a snake's neck would be at +3 to target, but that sounds reasonable, and yes, snakes do have necks. Obviously, when a snake is prone, its reach is reduced to C. Let's summarize this and show some pretty hex pictures. First, find what size modifier a snake would have using its full length, subtract 3 to get effective size modifier, and add long neck 3 to the template. Of course, if you want a snake that has higher or lower upright posture, you can adjust the long neck level. When assessing effective size modifier for the purpose of height difference, do not reduce an upright snake's size modifier for it having no legs. When prone, the snake's bite reach is reduced to C, and it fights as a prone creature. Switching between prone and standing or upright can be done as a single change posture maneuver. Size modifier +0 and larger snakes also can use turret mode from Serpents of Legend. This diagram shows the 7-yard long snake from the example. On the left, we have a prone snake with bite reach C, shown in red. In the center, we have an upright snake. It takes up 5 hexes, and it has its head lifted up 2 yards. Bite has reach C2. On the right, we have a coiled up snake in turret mode. Reach is at least C2, but step is added to it. We do not know this snake's step. The exact shape of the snake blob may vary in all cases. Snakes are snaky after all. Boy, it feels great to finally get it off my chest. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.